welcome to the first episode in the segment Women of Impact, where I will be talking to Noluthando Mngwengwe, who is a Durban born and bred phenomenal woman. She studied at the University of Cape Town, graduated with a Bachelor of Commerce in Economics and Finance, and a sub-major in Statistics. She further went on to study at the University of Pretoria, where she graduated with a BCom Honours and Masters in Economics, cum laude. Like, really phenomenal, hey? And she's currently working as an analyst in financial services, working mostly as a developer in financial reporting systems within the banking industry. She enjoys working with quantitative and big data management and analysis. Her other interests are in development economic studies, most specifically financial inclusion for lower income parts of South Africa. Noluthando believes deeply in the core foundations of feminism. She admires Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. In her spare time, she likes to organize. She is obsessed with time management, as she says, and basically life management strategies. So she does a lot of reading up on that when she's not practicing it. I think she can teach me a thing or two in that department. But without wasting any further time, let's get into the video and get to know her a little bit better.
So basically, I just wanted to have this talk so as to give the young girls out there a sense of self-worth as a woman, as a young woman, a young girl, and just also to inspire about activity. There is so much about being umuntu wesifazane besides the roles that we are assigned. And just to talk about that, the highs, the lows, the challenges, things that we wish we would have been told, and things that we can give to those young girls out there. So before we go any further, please just tell us, Uti, Noluthando, how did you grow up, etc.
I don't think there's much interesting about me. But I think only when you have to speak about yourself, you're like, quite a boring life. But starting from the beginning, I think Ngingati, I actually don't know the type of person that I am, because you know what I've noticed when I speak to different people, they get a different side of me. But just the more factual stuff. I grew up in Durban, KZN, in a place called Pine Town. I went to high school, Westfield Girls High School. It was a good high school. It's like the general challenges that Model C, schools have as a black girl growing up. But overall, I think I made some really amazing friendships, and I really grew up, and I had a lot of. And I think it's really important to put that aspect in, because what is life as a teenager without a man?
Exactly.
And I was, as far as I can say now that I look back, I was quite a nerd, but I was a nice nerd. I was a drama nerd, not a nerd that you couldn't speak to. Yes, but I loved my math. I knew my math. But now that I think about it, I was actually the only person in my class who didn't take, how people take bio, physics, accounting. So we called it S6. I didn't take that. I took physics, I took accounting, but instead of the bio, I took drama.
I see.
Yeah. Yes. So, and yes, I was the top student in my drama class. I loved it, everything I had in me. After that, I went to UCT. I did my undergrad. Actually, I did my undergrad for 2 years in material science, and I absolutely hated it. I hated it. I think those were the longest 2 years of my life, because when I think back, it was more like trying to keep a standard. I never got to enjoy it, because I was like I need to do good. If I'm not the math girl, who am I?
Okay.
So yeah, and then I had to like take a decision. End of my second year, I was like, okay, what do I actually enjoy? I'm very like, I have very liberal parents. Like, they don't have those issues of no, fix what you're doing. They're very like, okay, so what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So
they encourage
like, okay, yes, I was okay, I'm quite interested in like the economics, because that's one of the courses I was doing throughout my F5 degree. And I was like, okay, I like the economics, and I like the finance as well, and I like the stats. I can handle it. So yeah, I did an undergrad at BCom in Ecos and Finance, and I sub-majored in statistics. And then I did my honors at the University of Pretoria, and I did an honors in economics. And then I did my master's, and I did master's in economics as well. Absolutely loved doing what I was doing. I can say the best part of studying, economics has definitely been trying to understand why people of the same economy who live literally on the same soil can live so differently in terms of an economic, or rather socio-economic status. So, I was lucky because both my parents, my mom more especially, comes from a very poor background, and my dad comes from like rural. And where I grew up, it was very like middle class, upper middle class.
Yeah.
So I knew how my cousins lived, I knew how I lived, and I saw how different it was. And it was so interesting just to figure out. We all go to a high school, but we don't make it far. Abanye make it far, Abanye don't. So it's always been trying to understand those dynamics that has been really interesting, and also trying to quantify that.
Okay.
So I've really enjoyed trying to make white people understand Black people. As a person who's been privileged enough to sit on tables with white people and Black people with privilege, I have tried in every way to create a platform of understanding about, because you know how people make comments like, oh, but you're not like other, you're not like other Black people, or no, you're different. And it has been my lifelong mission to be like, no, don't go there. That is not a compliment. So yeah, that's basically me. I'm very outspoken. I'm very understanding. I think also because when you are objective, you have to understand both sides. So I've tried to maintain objectivity and maintain understanding, and maintain respect. So even if I really don't get where you're coming from, like, I'll try. But if I see, okay, we're not going anywhere, to not make the conversation circular, it will always be, okay, let me respect it and let me find ways to work around it, even though I don't really get it. So yeah, that's been me, basically, yeah.
Sure. I think what's interesting is that you talk about making white people understand Black people. I've also been in those spaces where you find yourself living in both worlds, where in the one you are amongst all the privileged and the elite, and then on the other hand you go back home and it's a total different situation, and the people from Ekaya, they don't actually understand you, and then the ones in the more privileged setting, they also don't understand you, and like you're trying to kind of fit in both worlds. I truly understand that. So I would like to know from you, based off on the topic of today, Uguti, what do you view, what is your definition of a woman, like the true essence of a woman in your perspective?
I think if I can just track back, my definition has changed over time through my personal experiences, and I think through the experiences of a lot of people that I have watched from a distance. Even if I don't have maybe all the answers or all the understanding or insights, it has definitely, really changed, because I think about when I was 10, what was a woman? It was an older female.
Yeah.
That's all that it like. I didn't, as long as I'm also going to be a woman one day. You know what I'm saying? I think through a lot of debates about sexuality and what it is, I have jumped around. I have jumped around in my beliefs. But I think I am finally at a point where I respect but am unmoved in my own beliefs of what a woman is. So I can say, number one, a woman is whoever she wants to be. However you define umuntu wesifazane is who a woman is. I mean, I can't come to you and say a woman is 1, 2, 3, and 4, because from my privileged background, I mean, a woman is umuntu who can provide for themselves, umuntu who can have children, have a husband, have a career, Umuntu who can come from a different angle. Actually, no, a woman is umuntu ohlala ekhaya next door, everything is in order, yabo. So I've tried.
Yes.
I've really tried to understand that based on your life experiences, it will define what it is for you. So I think also choosing my side has been based on my experiences. So Mina, I would say for me, it is definitely someone that is understanding. I think obviously everything has to have a break. Like, you can't be overly understanding.
Yeah.
To the point where you're taking advantage of.
True.
But my first stance, I think, as a mom and as a wife, is I try to understand, because ultimately I want everyone to be happy. I want the home to be peaceful. So I want to understand, if my son is crying, why are you crying? What's going on? You need to take up. If my husband is complaining about the kids, what's wrong? You need to So it's always trying to find middle ground for everyone to be able to have peace within wherever I am, right? And I think that is definitely number one. Number two is someone who is in control, but you not always needing to speak to be in control.
Yes, I love that.
You can control a situation by influencing. You can influence the right people. Konamantu that don't want to be the face of something. Like, for example, me, I don't want to be the face of something, but I want to be a part of something, a part of a change. So I don't mind being the right-hand person of either my husband or the right-hand person of my boss. My views are valued, but they're not held accountable. Like, if there's someone to go after, it's not me, but I did put my views in the decision being made.
Yes.
So I can say that's definitely number two. And number three is someone who is confident in their ability. Whether your ability is making dresses, whether your ability is making music, whether your ability just dominating your space. And I think the last and most important is definitely respect. It is respecting yourself. It is making sure people respect you.
Yeah.
And it is respecting others. So what I've noticed, I think, as a woman, is that you might respect yourself, and you might respect others, but it's not all the time that people will respect you. Even if you demand it, even if you kick and scream for it, you just have to know which battles to fight. Like fighting for the respect of your husband and the respect of a man on the streets, someone you'll never see again. Like,
some things are just not worth the effort. Yeah.
You see, exactly. So it's fine. Like, it's knowing the battles that I should fight. It's knowing the battles that I can fight. Like, for example, I won't get into physical battles. Like, I'm not even gonna try. I'm not trained. I don't want to be trained either. So it's not things that I enjoy, but I want to know the things that I fight for, which are the things that I believe in. And also I know when it's time to just calm down and just let things be,
Exactly.
So I think all in all, it would be whatever you want to be, whatever. When you sit down in the morning and you think, if I were given like literally a month to live my life and be the Thando that I want to be, how would I like people to receive me? How would I like people to speak of me? And how do I exemplify those characteristics to others, and mostly to myself? It has to be things that are important to me, you know. So some women want to be beautiful. Some women want to be known by how they look. I'm not one of those people, you know. Like the reason why I haven't learned to do makeup is because it's not something I particularly, you know, identify with. But
it doesn't make you you are.
Not at all. So, but I have a sister who does makeup like no one's business. She will be on YouTube watching makeup videos, and I respect that. And you know, she always says, like, if we have to go somewhere, I just put on whatever. And she's like, why are you dressed like that? What if we meet someone? And I'm like,
so if they meet you, that's you. They've met you.
That's who I am. Lucky you.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's also how I see things. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you like looking good, and it really forms a part of how you feel about yourself and all of that, good for you. And I definitely respect that. And me, Nanami, I also want to be respected in the things that I value myself. So it's mostly about respecting each other, understanding each other. So long as you don't cross my boundaries, I don't cross yours. But I think the most important is definitely like being a woman is only project.
It's the best foundation, Jay,
definitely.
So Now I would like to know ukuthi journey yakho ibinjani to becoming a woman. So take me back to the little girl Thando to the woman that you are now. Like, how was that experience?
I think at the beginning I never identified as like, I don't think I even have ever identified as like a girl. I've always identified as like human. Like how you have light people, dark people, short people, tall people. My gender has never, it's never been something that has been, you know, top of my list, like, how do I remain a woman and all of that. I think largely I would owe that to my dad. I think he has two daughters, just myself and my sister. So now he's never put a lot of emphasis on we don't do this, we don't. His thing has always been go to school and pass like you're crazy, you know. That's all. And you know, it's always been just be crazy about your future. Work hard for what you have. It's been very general things that have helped me grow up to just be a good human being, a human being okwazi ukuphilisana nabantu, a human being okwazi ukuphupha and make those dreams come true as well. But I think over time, Nami, I've been exposed to things, social media, you know, you read these things and they make you wonder, as umuntu wesifazane, like, what are my opinions on certain things, you know?
Yes.
And I think that's how I stumbled on like Beyonce, and not in like the musical sense. I think on a very political sense, you know. Then I stumbled upon like Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, like, and it really shaped. So it really shaped how I view womanhood. Like, the conversation is never around how I look. It has always been around affirming my place, not being given a place because of Noluthando, but because I deserve it. So I've also been very lucky that I have been surrounded by men that have seen me outside of Noluthando, you know. Like I said, my dad didn't really, you know, into Mazane does this. No, it was never like that. And I think also with meeting my partner, it was the exact same thing. He never put any, you know, red tape around, okay, this Fazane does this. No, it's like, it's never been like that. He sees me as a person, he sees me as a partner. He sees me as someone amthandayo, like how you would love, a sibling. He sees me as a friend. Like, so all of that has allowed me to exist outside of just identifying as a woman. But also, I would say that in the opinions that are formed about womanhood, I would say, like I said before, lento yokuhlonipha yourself and not wanting so much to compete with men, because I think the toxic behaviors that we pick up along the way as women is because we're trying to compete with men. So lento like people speak about body counts and all of that. Like, if I'm a woman, if a man can do this, then I can do this. And it's like, a man can do that, but for myself, for my own peace,
True.
I'm not gonna do that,
True.
So if men are choosing when they're wrong and want to clothe it in, it's because I'm a man, I won't accept it for myself. So I won't say in order to be equal, I can just, go around speaking with people from the age of 18 to 40 and then expect to have a happy marriage, because
True.
that does affect you,
Yeah.
So it's finding a balance of protecting my mental health, but also cementing my place in spaces where me being a woman shouldn't put me at a disadvantage. So this thing of the basic concept of feminism, just being, I must get things that men get for my ability.
Yes,
because I have things that require a brain.
Yeah,
you see, isn't that require ingondo? Can I be looked at the same way? Things, things that don't require anything biological, like my physical features, because really I'm not going to be a bricklayer, and I have no plans of being a bricklayer either,
Yes.
I have no plans of being a truck driver, all those things, like things that are regarded for men. If I did want to be a truck driver, I was going to fight to be a woman who drives trucks, but if women want that, do that. I fought, to be in the space that I'm in, where I work, and I am continuously trying to, cement my place and just be seen outside of being a Black woman. So so I can say, in my journey of womanhood has definitely shaped the more feminist side of it, where it's not so much about the biological aspects of what I'm born with. I'm born with breasts, I'm born with an interest, all those things. It's definitely been I see how people look at me and they automatically judge my abilities based on the fact that I'm a woman, and my retaliation or response to that is always just prove them wrong. Make people, like, when they walk away, that's your guys, like, this thing of men can do this and women can't do that, this person proves wrong.
That's true. I like
but
that,
only when I want to. Don't make me a poster girl for women doing things that men should be doing. Like, no, I want to do the things that I want to do. Just look at me like another teammate, look at me like another colleague, don't look at me as like my colleague, the woman, or and things like that. Yeah.
So this leads me to my next question, Uguti. What are some of the challenges, of being a woman in the space that you've been in or that you are in currently?
I can say, let me track back actually to varsity.
Okay.
I was surrounded by, or those people are actually my friends, trying to juggle between being a liberated woman and a religious woman without seeming like a woman fighting against women's rights. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
So one of the challenges has been trying to explain my views on how a woman should behave without seeming misogynistic, because religious views can come across to liberals as misogynistic. Exactly that. So a lot of views that come from a biblical sense or religious sense can seem like they fight against the liberation of women.
Yes.
And because I hold like 90% of those views myself, I sometimes clashed because I go to church. So it's like, oh, if you didn't go to church, you'd probably, agree. But, I'm like, well, I actually come from a home where I wasn't really forced to go to church. It was a decision that I made, that I wanted. And I hold those views outside of that. So it actually has nothing to do with religion, or because a lot of these institutions, to be honest, are seen as institutions as the role of women in society, or as women in general.
True.
So one of my challenges has been always trying to, balance the scale, in that I adopt religious views because I believe in them too, but not because they form a part of my religion. You see, so that comes with, number one, always questioning religion, always questioning, why do things happen this way? Questioning to a point where I'm like, wow, okay, I agree, or no, I don't want to hear anything about this. I don't agree with this. So that would have to be definitely challenge number one, and I think challenge number two would be finding my space, I think, as a wife and as a feminist. I don't want to say challenge, because I'm actually married to a feminist myself. If I, he always says, I don't understand feminism, and you make decisions. Sometimes I'm like, that's a feminist decision. Like, I would have totally made that decision myself. So I've noticed how simple the concept is. It's just, you can't do this just because someone's a woman. Literally, that's all that it is. So I want to say that there are some things like, babe, could you help me with this? Where it comes naturally, but I notice when it happens in front of people, it's like, even my dad will be like, no, don't tell your husband. So why are you telling him to do that? And it's like, no, I'm not telling him. He can see that I'm in between a rock and a hard place. It's just helping. It's not. It doesn't make any less of anything.
It doesn't need a gender role. Some things don't require a gender role. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, so it's always been trying to balance that, because, like I said, my dad is quite old too. So, some things it's like, no, Thando, don't do this. Like, you pull me aside, like, oh, why don't you do? And, I understand the times that he comes from. I understand the type of woman my mom has to become in those times. But definitely trying to teach and make them understand that, guys, I am a very submissive woman, but I'm lucky that I'm not with someone who's continuously like, do this, women do that. It just happens naturally. Like, I want to cook for myself. I don't want to eat his food. He's not a great cook. It's not because I'm the woman in the relationship. I'm a much better cook. I'm an organizer. I clean. I wash, I change bedding every weekend. That's just who I am. He's not like that. And I'm not going to sleep in dirty bedding because I'm trying to be an equal to my partner. Rather to cement my place as like a woman in the relationship. No, I'm just the more clean person. That's just it.
Everybody deserves to be in a clean environment, and so if you are the person to make the environment clean, then so be it. Not because it's your duty as a wife to make the environment clean. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. So I think I've been lucky. Yeah. So I've been lucky to be like, I'm not. I wouldn't say I am I'm a barefoot and pregnant person, like pregnant sort of woman, but I am. But also, I'm the smart woman that you want to have political debates with. So it's just who I am, and that's just that on that. And I think that's been the most challenging part, is finding the balance for people to understand that about me, and just, I guess, fighting off the judgment, feeling judged a lot, like, hey, maybe I'm not doing enough, maybe I should be more this, because at work it's like, maybe I should be more hardworking. I should be putting more effort into my career. Then when you're at home, you feel like, hey, I'm not able to clean as much as I want to. I wonder what my man is saying. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's
You're
just
just
finding that
fighting
balance.
those voices. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and coming to a point where it's like a point of balance, like, okay, I'm doing as much as I can here, and I'm doing as much as I can here. And by the looks of things, everyone's happy, so I'm fine.
That is important. That is.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that I admire is that, you know, we're the same age, and I like the fact that you, as a person, you continue to do the things that you love to do, outside of being. So my view is always that, like, I don't necessarily see, or I want people to have this picture that you can be a female, but regardless or outside of the roles that society normally places upon us. So, for example, you know, you are the epitome of that, because you have like how many degrees, and you're a young person, you know, and you are married, and you have 2 sons, like, you know, and you so many different roles, but that does not take away from you being Uthando. You know, you are still Noluthando outside of those roles. And that's what I think, that's the picture that I want people to actually see with you. You can prioritize yourself as a human, outside of being a mother, because I think that we come from a world, especially in our